Hey team, welcome to Path to the Pros, brought to you by Blueprint to Bluechip, where we build a human being underneath the athlete. I'm Thomas Rose, sports performance coach and co-founder of Blueprint to Bluechip. And with me, as always, is my co-founder and CEO, Aaron Sarles. 25 years of Fortune 500 executive coaching, sports mom, and the woman who built Blueprint. Tonight, I want you to stop whatever you're doing, put down the phone, close the tabs, and because what you're about to hear is unlike anything we have ever featured on the show, we're super excited. We talk a lot about Path to the Pros. This one is going to be the Olympic edition. And what it takes, the discipline, the sacrifice, the character, the moments that test you when nobody's watching. Tonight's guest has lived every single one of these things at a level most of us will never be asked to reach. As a child, he had part of his right leg amputated from a cancer diagnosis, and we'll get into that. But he didn't stop competing. He became a two-sport collegiate athlete. He represented Team USA at the International Wheelchair and Amputee Sports Federation World Games and won his division in the discus, long jump, and the 100-meter dash. He was featured on CBS in their Courage in Sports documentary. He announced the 147th pick of the 2024 NFL draft. Derik, who was that?
That was Adric Estime.
Of course it was. He'll always remember that. He raised $75,000 and more than the previous year for American Cancer Society as a featured speaker. And right now, today, he is training full-time at the United States Olympic Training Center in Chula Vista, California, with his sights set on the USA Nationals and Paralympic qualification. This is Path to the Pros Olympic edition. Derik, thanks so much. We're super excited to have you here. Thanks for taking time out of your training, time out of your day to sit down with us for a brief Path to the Pros Olympic edition episode.
Awesome. Thank you, Thomas and Aaron, for letting me be here on the Path to Pros. Such a great opportunity.
This is great. Tonight in the room with us, a professional track and field athlete competing in the T64 classification. I want to get into that. A two-sport athlete at Hope College who played defensive line and competed in discus, javelin, long jump, and the 100-meter dash. A CBS documentary subject, a keynote speaker, a brand ambassador, and a Team USA competitor. A man who has competed at the highest level in international athletics, on one leg, and is currently ranked second in the national on Nordic combined. Wow. He trains every single day alongside Olympians in the United States Olympic Training Center. He dropped from 240 pounds to 210 in pursuit of his competition weight. He's chasing USA Nationals in the New York City Paralympics qualifications and beyond that. You can follow him on Instagram or TikTok at One-Legged Derik. Okay, Derik Smith, welcome to Path to the Pros. This is awesome.
Thank you.
Aaron, why don't you jump in here? Do you have the notes in front of you?
Of course I do. Yeah, I would love to jump in. We were connecting off screen before we started to record this about just where you were born. So let's start, back in Wyoming and what brought you to this point. So, you grew up, obviously went through something very traumatic with having your leg amputated as a child. So just walk us through those early years.
Yeah, so I was born in Burns, Wyoming, in a athletic household. My grandfather played football at Michigan State University, and my mom and my dad, my mom played track and played basketball, and my dad played football as well. So I was born into an athletic household, and I knew that I was going to play at least at the college level. When I was at a young age, my dad left our family, which was hard on us at the age of 5. And then when at the age of 7, I broke my leg and found out that I had cancer about a year later. So going through those at a young age definitely impacted our family. But we have always been a strong athletic family that knew that once you have something goes against you, you have to make something of it. So once I figured out that I had cancer, it was a long process between breaking my leg and finding out I had cancer. We went through probably 8 to 9 surgeries trying to take bone from the hip down to the leg, rods, everything we could do to figure out what was wrong. Because at first we thought that it was just a young kid just broke his leg. But then we went down to Denver Children's Hospital in Denver, and they told us that my leg was going to be amputated that there's nothing they could do. The cancer was taking over my bone, and it was just making it so weak that if I did anything, even if it did heal, that it was just so weak that it would break it. And a cool story that I had with that is we went to Smash Mouth Burger, and there was this guy on crutches, and he recently broke his leg riding a motorcycle. And I'm this young kid, 7 years old, with a big smile on my face, just being told that I was going to lose my leg. And the guy in front of me, I was like, "Oh, what happened to you?" Just this young kid. And he snapped at me and said, "Oh, this, woe was me." And I'm this young. And then he's like, "Oh, what's wrong with you?" And I told him that I just figured out that I had cancer and that I was going to lose my leg. And I could just see his face completely change. He just goes white as a ghost. And he comes up to my table with me and my mom and says, "You're such an inspiration. Thank you for changing my outlook on life." And at that age, I had no idea what inspiration was. I thought I made him melt his ice cream or something. But to be able to be at a young age and have this mindset was such a key thing that my mom raised me to have.
That's awesome. You're on mute.
That's me. Sorry. No, so tell us more about the mindset that your mom instilled in you. Like, obviously you were alluding to that a little bit, but I think oftentimes I don't think athletes give their parents enough credit. Especially I think elite athletes, because I think you're raised in really phenomenal environments to be really resilient. And so do you want to share more on that, kind of what you were just eliciting about your mom?
Yeah. My mom is a German redhead. She's got a fire in her. She has always.
I like her already.
And she has such. She's got a way of life that just kind of you just want to be around her. When I had my leg amputated on April 24th, 2012, I went through this period where I thought I made this mistake, and I talked to her and I said, "Mom, I think I made this mistake. Is there anything you can do that you can bring my leg back if we go to the doctor or something changed?" And she told me that this is what was supposed to happen. God made this happen for a reason, that I'm going to make something of it. At that point, we didn't know what. And she goes, this is the reason. And ever since then, I've had hard points in my life. Don't let me tell you that. But ever since then, I realized that I was going to have a different outlook on it, that I was going to make the most of it and be able to change other people's lives like this impacted my life. So to have her in my life was an awesome situation. I was forced to have her as a mother, but I would not change it for the world.
Well, we could look at God gifted to you to each other as well. I tell my kid, I'm like, you are a gift to me and I'm a gift to you, even when you don't think so. But I think that's so incredibly cool, and what a beautiful perspective, even if you don't understand that necessarily at 7 years old, that, that has a lasting impact, and you can draw on that, in moments where you probably still question that. So what was that like as you kind of, obviously that now happened. Walk us through kind of that next phase, you're 7, maybe into that middle school, high school years of like, I think really just that acceptance phase. I'm sure that took a while to get to that.
It did. So I was 9 years old when I had it amputated, and I was in 3rd grade. Before I left for surgery, we had a big class party, just kind of bringing everybody together, letting them know what was going to happen. I was going to come back to school. And like I said before, I went to school in Burns, Wyoming. My graduating class would have been 23 people. So we were all very close. We all knew each other's birthdays, their parents' birthdays, everything. So I think to be raised around that was awesome. So when I came back, it was just kind of like night and day. No one really knew anything different. They kind of they accepted me for who I was. And so it wasn't really a situation where I thought that I had to change who I was or people made me different. They just kind of, I came back, and but I think a lot of it was like on me as well. Like I came back right after my amputation in April. I was playing summer baseball, and then that fall I was playing football again. So I think me just coming back, getting into sports, and being able to proceed in the way that I wanted to, really brought everybody realizing that it was going to be okay when I came back.
I love that. Small town USA, I think is so important because it's almost like you had a whole family. Your whole town was your family essentially in that situation. So you had a much broader support system, and to your point, they just accept you. So it wasn't, oh my gosh, these people don't know me, or so that is so, I think, profound that you had that opportunity again, like kind of probably by design, by God, because it probably made your transition. What's that like with other athletes? I mean, each one of you that compete at the Paralympics all have a different story of you, like how you arrived at that point. And so how do you use your story maybe in comparison with others, because they're all so unique and different? Or how do you feel like maybe what happened to you is a blessing in disguise?
Ooh. It's so hard because I think we use our experiences in all different ways. I mean, I train with athletes that have cerebral palsy, and then another athlete that's lost his leg. And between myself and the guy that lost his leg, Derik Smith, it's just completely different because he was older when he lost his leg. I was younger, and we never really. The only thing we really bond on outside of track and field is that we both played college football. So we never really it's very rarely that we use our story to communicate. We just talk about college football and the things that we were made out of it with having prosthetic leg.
That's so awesome. Yeah, each one of you that we've had the privilege of speaking with several different Paralympians, and it's like each story is so inspiring and so unique. And I think it also teaches, resiliency of just what you can overcome, which I think is so profound. So with that, Thomas, do you want to kind of get into being the competitor and what
Absolutely.
that looks like?
I'll jump in here. Absolutely. No question. Derik, you played defensive line at Hope College and competed in track and field, a two-sport athlete on a prosthetic leg. How did that happen, and what did it say about you and who you are and where you're going?
Yeah, so it happened, and it started in high school. I mean, I had to work my butt off, and when I still lived in Wyoming, my sophomore year, I was all-conference football player, and just had the drive to allow myself to realize that I wanted to continue to keep training, but I had to change it a little bit. Outside, I had to put more hours in to work on balance, strength on the right side more than any other player had to, which I think that made me drive and allowed me to play college football and run college track. But it was my senior year in high school. I didn't think I was going to play college football anywhere. I was trying to go to more of the college track side because that was more where I got more playing time, where I got my numbers were better. And I reached out to the Coach Sturzma. He's a football coach at Hope College, and said, "Hey, I'll play any position, no matter what it is. If it's offensive line, if it's center, whatever it is, I'll play it." And he contacted me at 3:00 in the morning that he got an opening spot. And it was just a lit a fire underneath me, and realized that I am capable of doing anything. I played offensive line for 1 year, but then I made my moment and moved over to defense where I meant to be. And it was such a cool opportunity to be able to play college football and run college track as well.
No doubt. I mean, you do know that the probability of going on to play after high school is so small. And then to have another obstacle here, I mean, it says so much about your mental resilience and your focus and dedication. But what did it feel like to line up against an opponent? Did they have any idea that you had a prosthetic leg, and were you treated differently, or did they just bring the heat just the same?
Yes and no. I think when I started to play and got on the field, especially in my earlier years, I was the last minutes of the game. So I'd go out there and they go, oh, like, good job, you're playing with one leg. And I would let them know that I'm going to hit you just as hard, or if not harder than the person was before. And I did. They always came up to me afterwards and said that I did hit harder than the person before. And just trying to work my way up to the lineup. And but I thought it was really cool. I mean, it was hard being a two-sport athlete in college because, I mean, I was an athlete all year round, from football and fall camp, then throughout fall and winter with football, and then we had indoor season with track, and then during the spring with track season, we had spring ball as well. So I would go over and have spring ball practice, and then I would train by myself for track and field. So the spring was very difficult, but I enjoyed it and I loved it because, I mean, in high school you're doing the same thing. I mean, you're always in the sport if you're in a sport, and you still have classes, you still have homework, and so just having that dedication throughout high school definitely helped myself in college.
That's awesome. And you represented Team USA at the World Games and won your division in discus, long jump, and 100-meter dash. Take us to Portugal. What was it like in that moment?
Yeah, super cool. I was my sophomore year in college, and it was competing under the IWAS Games. And it was really cool to be able to represent the United States of America and go over there and see what the international stage is like. The IWAS Games is a different division than the Paralympic Games, but still, it was such an awesome opportunity to go over there and realize that I am one of the top athletes in the world at such a young age. Like, when I look at world rankings, I'm one of the youngest athletes by 10, 15 years. So it's really cool to see what I'm doing and that the progress, if I keep going, what I could be in the future.
That's badass. And you're currently training full-time at the United States Olympic Training Center in Chula Vista alongside Olympians that you see every day. What is that environment like, and what has it done for your game?
I mean, it's a dream come true. Every day I wake up and realize that I'm living in a dream, competing to my dream. I mean, it's just a eye-opening experience. When I first got here, I was 240 pounds and thought that I was this lean, mean fighting machine. But then I realized that I was not. That I had to lose the weight and slim down into this track athlete rather than this football track / athlete. And but it's been so cool. I mean, I've made great strides since being here, losing the weight and being able to be a full-time track athlete rather than a half football, half track athlete.
Sure.
So it's been a blessing in disguise, and I knew what I was getting myself into with the workload. But I love it. I mean, my mom told me that I should have been in the military because I love waking up, eating, recover, train, eating, recover, sleep. So I just love the structure of it and what it's done for me so far.
I love it. When we first met, I was telling you that I lived in San Diego for a while. My dad was in the Marine Corps. He was at Camp Pendleton. I mean, serving your country is one thing, but competing for your country is another, especially knowing the path you took to get there. What's it like to compete for the United States?
I mean, it's awesome. There's nothing like it. When I've been on the world class stage for IWAS or Grand Prix, and you're able to get first place, and they have the national anthem playing behind you, and you realize that you represented your country well, and you got first place, and the national anthem's behind you. It's like it makes you tear up, and
for sure.
It's just really cool, and just to be in that opportunity, and that everything you work towards has been for that moment, and it's just really cool. Something I can't explain.
Yeah, I'm sure. I mean, you'd want to say you just have to live it, but not everybody has that opportunity to live that. I mean, you really are living a dream, but you worked for it. And part of working for that is you went from 240 pounds to 210 pounds. I don't know if you still weigh the same amount. As part of the full body transformation, what did that process look like day by day? And was that something that you came up with, or did your coach pull you aside and said, "Hey, bud, listen, you're going to have to drop some pounds"?
It's a little bit of both. It was the first week I was here, and we were doing body testing, and I looked around and I realized that no one really weighed more than 205 pounds, 210 pounds. So I knew that I had to do something about it. And so my coach and I just was like, hey, this is the plan. If you want to have the goals, this is what you're going to have to do. And both of us realized that with me continuing throwing disc and long jumping, spurting, that I had to slim down, but make sure that my muscle stayed on. So that was the hardest part. And the start of it, the first month, I didn't see nothing really changed. I didn't have any, my weight on the scale stayed the same. My body structure kind of changed a little bit, but nothing really happened. And that was very, very daunting, very like, what am I doing? I think I'm doing something wrong. And the coaches, everybody here was like, just stick with it. It's just gonna fall off. And within month 2, I was able to see myself in the mirror and almost not recognize myself. And by month, it just kept falling off. I have slowed down for sure. I think right now I brought myself up to 215 because I was getting really lean and not as healthy. But it's been a challenge just because I'm used to eating with football and going into fall camp and realizing that I had to eat as much as I can. So the weight on the rest looks really good, but it's been nice. Like I don't recognize myself when I look in the mirror or take a picture of myself. It's fantastic, but it's been a struggle, and it's been very rewarding at the same time.
Well, just competing at a high level is a struggle every day, right? I mean, it's just mentally and physically challenging, but keeping your eye on the prize. On that one, I'll turn it back over to Aaron for the Paralympic dream. Aaron, it's yours.
Hey, here we go. Sorry about this. Aaron's making a mess of everything, clicking the wrong buttons. So yeah, as Thomas kind of shared, I would love to know, the USA National in New York City, are you getting prepared to compete in those? Have you competed in those? And what does preparation for any competition look like for you?
Yeah, so we competed in them last year. It was the first year that the Olympics and Paralympics were together. And I think that was an awesome opportunity, being able to be on one stage with both Olympic and Paralympic together, because the Olympics is phenomenal and Paralympics is the parallel of the Olympics, just with disabilities. So I think to be able to be combined as best as we can was an awesome opportunity. And that it is in New York City is really cool, because I've never been to New York. It's the Big Apple, and it's going to be really cool and really exciting. For the process of training and everything, it started on day 1 when I got here on January 3rd. So just being able to come in every day and train for it. With this year being not really an important year because we have no Worlds, no Pan Am Games, and no Paralympic Games. It really doesn't mean anything, but at the same time, to be on the big stage and have that practice of competing at a high level and being able to show marks for it is very important. So with it not being a big meet, it's still important to be a little practice.
That's awesome. So when does this take place?
July 23rd through the 26th.
Oh, so it's coming up.
Yeah, it's 1 month away. Today.
That is so exciting. Wow. So what are you racing? What are you competing in? Give us more details. So if we got to tune in, where would we find you?
Yeah, so I'm competing in the T64 long jump, and as well as the F64 discus. So the T and F is just track and field is all that is the difference. But yeah, so long jump and the discus.
That's awesome. So tell us this. Now, I want to know I've never seen those, like the T64. Mm-hmm. So for our audience, can you kind of break that down and explain that to all of us so we understand what that means?
Yeah, of course. So they're all in different categories of disability. So I'll start from 64. So 64 is a single amp below the knee. 63 is a single amp above the knee. 62 is double amp below the knee, so 2 prosthetics below the knee, and then 61 is 2 prosthetics above the knee. All your 50s are wheelchair athletics, so wheelchair racing, chair throws, things like that. Your 40s are going to be a disability in the limb, just like just like the 60s only. They still have their arm or leg. And then the 30s are cerebral palsy. And then after that, it gets away from me. But then you have blinds, but it's all different classifications based on what your disability is. The more high you go up, the less disabled you are. But in the range of numbers.
Okay, that's really important to know. I never knew that. I think when I've tuned in to watch the games, I don't think I've ever really paid attention to that. So that's great. I just learned something new, and hopefully the audience did too. So can you walk our audience through what it takes in order to, let's say, qualify and get you to the 2028 LA Olympics?
Yeah, so it's kind of like the Olympics in a way. So you have to hit a standard, and then which is like the A standard, and then after that you have to be the best of the best. So like the Olympic side, if you hit standard, top 3 go that hit over standard. In Paralympics, it's pretty much a pick and choose situation. So it has to go with, you have to be over standard, you have to be highly ranked in the ranking system, and we're shorter athletes. So I think last year for the Worlds, they only took a total of, I want to say 38 to 46 athletes. So very for men and women total. So it's a lot smaller team. So you have to be over the standard mark, and you have to be highly ranked. And even if you are first in the world and you hit over the standard, there's a possibility you don't even go either. Because there's been moments where we've had Jeremy Campbell, Max Roan, David Blair, all 1, 2, 3 in the discus, and we only took 2 of them. So I mean, it sucks for the third guy, but at the same time, the U.S. goes there to make medals and be on the stage. So, but yeah, so Paralympics is just a little bit more of a pick and choosing because we have less budget and a smaller team. So
good to know.
Yeah.
So you compete in discus, javelin, long jump, and the 100-meter dash, where I'm guessing most athletes specialize in one event or maybe 2. What drives you to compete in all 4?
I compete in all 4 because I'm close in all of the standards. So like this year, I've gone away from javelin just because the standard is so high. Went up to 64 meters, and I currently throw like 42. So there's really no point. And I mean, there is a point. You can always get better. But I'm closer in, like you said, in long jump, discus, and the 100. So I prioritize my time into those 3 events to be able to make a world team, national team.
Okay, that's good to know. So yeah. I'm just trying to think. So the standard is kind of what's guiding where you decide you're going to be competing. And would you say that translates across both the Paralympics and the Olympics, is the standard, and then where you sit in relationship to that?
Yes. I mean, the Olympic and Paralympics are completely different. I mean, we don't have the same standards or anything. Yeah, but they work kind of similar. Like in Olympics, you have to hit a standard to even go to the national stage, just like the Paralympic side. But it's just different on like how to make the teams and things like that.
Yeah. So, okay, I'm going to use an example. It's going to be kind of random, so forgive me, because I just want our audience to really understand this. Yeah. And I'm kind of getting my mind wrapped around this because I always love the countries that send an athlete that they're basically the only athlete from that country, but they had to meet an Olympic standard in order to get there, correct?
Correct, yes.
Okay. So it's not like just a charity case and they're like, here you go. Like they actually had to meet a standard in order to even go, maybe swim in one heat or run in one heat or something to that effect.
Yes, exactly.
Oh, okay. Again, audience, if you didn't learn something new, Aaron certainly did. I didn't realize. I was always like, how did they decide to get that person there? Okay, that totally helps me get my brain wrapped around this. Okay, with that, Thomas, it's back to you.
Awesome. Thanks, Aaron. Derik, one of the things I talk about with Aaron and I talk about with a lot of athletes, and this is going to be a perfect segue into, what the foundation is of Blueprint to Bluechip. One of the saddest things that I see, and I'm sure you've seen it at all levels, when there's an athlete that has more talent than he or she knows what to do with it, but they are their own worst enemy. Tell us about that in your experience. Have you seen athletes like that just get washed out? They're uncoachable, or maybe they're just a little too selfish. And what has your experience been like that working with other athletes?
I think a lot of it goes back to high school.
Okay.
A lot of the team and players that I played with in high school were a lot better than I was, and none of them came into played college sports. A key example of this is I had a running back and linebacker in high school, and he was the Gatorade Player of the Year in Michigan. He had all these accolades and everything. And he went Division III. He played the same college I went to, which I'm not hating on Division III or the college I went to, but he was supposed to go D1 and be this phenom, but he went Division III. And I don't think it was a coaching thing. I didn't understand why he decided to go to D3. But it just there's something in athletes where they realize that they self-doubt themselves.
Sure.
And they don't trust how well they actually are in the sport.
Yeah.
So I think that plays a huge role into athletics. And luckily for me, when I was a young age and lost my leg, I already went, I was growing up knowing that the worst thing they can say is no.
Sure.
Or take away my leg or something like that. So to be able to have that as a young kid and realize that the worst thing they can say is no, and that if they say no, I'm in the same spot I am now. If they say yes, I'm in a greater spot or the place I wanted to be.
That's awesome. Are you able to laugh at yourself with respect to your situation, or do you take it seriously, and do you feel like sometimes people tiptoe around it? I mean, me personally, you and I are already starting to establish a friendship. If I would go out with you, I would say, hey, you should tell girls that, you know that expression, pull my leg, it plays jingle bells. They actually did, and look what happened. Are you able to joke around about it, or do you feel like people are a little tense?
I think it's gotten better throughout the years. When I was a kid, I only wore pants to school. I never really wanted anybody to look at myself. The grocery stores are the worst with all ages, kids,
Sure.
all the way up to older elders. And but now I'm able to laugh about it. I'm able to realize that this is who I am. I'm able to make great things out of it. Like you guys said earlier, I do public speaking throughout everything. And I've really been able to not use that as my foundation, but a place that I can grow from, and that I can use it in all instances of life. And so I make a lot of jokes about it. When I was in college, we were super close, and I lived with all the football guys, and they would, as soon as I get in the shower, they would take it and put it in hide it. And there was one time they would come out and they would put it in the refrigerator, in the freezer. And I was looking around it forever until I went into the freezer for something. But so to be able to have that foundation and being able to laugh about it and have people around you do the same is just it makes the world go a lot easier.
Sure. Well, I mean, you didn't want any preferential treatment, so they just treated you like one of the guys. We're like, all right, let's haze them, let's mess with them a little bit. That's awesome.
Yeah.
So, what the foundation behind Blueprint to Bluechip is, we have what's called the Caddy framework, which is character over clout, accountability over excuses, discipline over motivation, integrity over image. And let's talk about character over clout, because you touched on it. You could have let your diagnosis define your ceiling. Instead, it became your foundation. What did that choice say about your character? And was there ever a moment you almost let the narrative win?
Oh yeah. When I was a kid going to school, this was probably, I don't know, probably about a month, 2 months after my amputation.
Okay.
There was one morning I woke up and I said, Mom, I'm not going to school. And I said, I'm not wearing my leg I'm not wearing my leg, and I'm just not going to go to school today. And my mom took me and said, you're putting your leg on and you're getting on the bus. So to be able to have that foundation and realize that I'm going to put my leg on and I have to put it on every day just to do what the daily thing is. And to have that was a big part in being able to find the foundation.
Perfect. Totally. And then we have accountability over excuses. You could have had your fair share of excuses, and almost any athlete has ever shown. How did you make that decision, consciously or not, that excuses were not going to be part of your story?
Well, as soon as I had my leg amputated and my mom lifted up the blanket and showed my leg, the first thing I said to her was that it's football, not feetball, and I'm still going to play. So to be able to use what I have and being able to change it just a little bit so that I can fit in and that I can produce the results that I'm looking for and live the life that I have always dreamed of.
Awesome. Discipline over motivation. You train every single day at the Olympic Training Center alongside some of the best athletes in the world. Talk to us about what discipline looks like for you. And I'm not talking about the good days, but on the days your body hurts and the finish line feels impossible, far away, or maybe imposter syndrome is settling in.
I don't know. It's just hard to say because I enjoy and love being here.
I love that.
Like since being here, I don't have Monday blues anymore. I never wake up and yes, we have a circuit every Tuesday that I dread of going. But every time that we get done with it, I realize that what I've done and that I've gotten better and that I just enjoy what I do and I love being here and that sports is ever since my amputation and before amputation, I've always wanted to play sports at a high level. And now that I'm doing it, there's no point in hating and not wanting to go. And so I just enjoy that I'm getting better each and every day, whether that be 1%, 2%, or even half percent. I know that it's going to equal up to 100% one day and I'm able to execute.
Wow. This is just remarkable. I mean, this is an absolute pleasure, and I want to keep going. Integrity over image. You compete in a classification most America has never heard of, in events that don't make SportsCenter, or a dream that most people just don't understand. What keeps you going when the spotlight isn't there?
That's tough. I think it's because a lot of I would say a lot of athletes do play sports for being on the top 10 plays of an ESPN or for the girls or for whatever it is. But I think it's just to be able to do it for myself, do it for the young 9-year-old that has leg amputated, being able to show him and being able to look back that just because when we were sitting in that bed after amputation, that I'm still doing it. I'm doing it in a way that I'm proud of. I'm building my brand, building a way that I can show others that where I was 14 years ago, that is possible with one leg, two legs, no legs. So being able to show others, because I think that's what I was meant to be. That's why I was put on this earth, is because beyond the sport, beyond everything, that I'm able to show that anything is truly possible as long as you put your mind to it.
No doubt. I mean, it's clear this was your path, and you've never played the victim. How do you think your life would be different if you didn't lose your leg?
When I was in kindergarten running, I was the fastest kid, and I think I would have been more of a cocky kid. I think because growing up, I was him. I was smart. I was fast. I was very athletic, and I think for me losing my leg, I can't even imagine what my life would have been. I can't even. I would say maybe I would probably still done college sports, or maybe I would have been that athlete that loses the interest in it because it just became so easy to me, and then I just wanted to have something kind of harder. So maybe if I didn't lose my leg, I never would have played college sports and have the same drive that I do today.
No doubt. I firmly believe that. So what do you say to a young athlete, any athlete, who has been told their obstacle is too big to overcome?
That's just not true. I mean,
Bingo.
we always in life we climb hills to reach the top to realize that there's another hill past that hill. So because if everything was a flat land, then life would not be fun. That you would have no goals, no obstacles, nothing to live for. So for someone to say that their goal is too high, too out of reach, let's make some small goals. Let's make the valleys and have these small mountains so we can climb over to potentially reach the big goal.
I love that. My dad, again, I talked about him being in the military. He used to say, son, those on top of the mountains didn't fall there, right? You're going to have to grind and climb. What's the one thing about competing at the Paralympic level that would surprise most people?
How much work it actually takes. I mean, you think of most people when they think of Paralympic sports, they think of just these athletes with disabilities that are performing less than the Olympic level, and which is not true. I mean, I train with Derik Smith. He is PR, and the personal record in the long jump is 8:27. That jump would have more. He's one of the best jumpers in the world right now.
Wow.
And he doesn't get any social media, nothing about it. Like he's jumped 8:05 this year, and which is top end of a lot of the jumpers. So I think a lot of us just don't get the social media aspect of it. But so I think the biggest takeaway is that just because we're Paralympic athletes doesn't mean we're not hitting the marks the same way as Olympic athletes are. For sure.
So every Saturday morning on game day, when there's in the fall when we watch football, you get a behind the scenes look at Michigan football at their training facility or the University of Oregon, but the Olympic Training Center. Take us through that. What's it actually like, and when you walk in there, and when you walked in there for the first time?
I mean, it was a dream. I came here for a camp 2 years ago. Okay. And I was just this like a little kid in a candy shop, just so excited to be here, and that just the dreams and the athletes and the goals that were meant to be in here was just really cool. It's just kind of like you walk into a building and you just kind of feel just like something in the building, and to be able to walk around and see American flags everywhere is just, and be able to represent your country in a facility and live out a dream of training at the Olympic Training Center. And it's phenomenal. It's definitely been a dream come true.
That's awesome. Derik, every athlete that we've ever talked to, met, or had on our show, at some point, forgive me, they've had a fuck it moment. I am done. What's the hardest moment or that moment in your journey, and what did it teach you about yourself?
I would have to go to back to college when I was trying to play college football, and I didn't get any. I got these small offers to play in college football, and nothing really came. And I knew that I was going to Hope College, and I was like, "Hey, I'm going to meet with the college football coach, Coach Sturzma, try to get a spot." And I was just sending emails, and he wouldn't respond. So I sent another email. He didn't respond. Sent another email. He didn't respond. And then eventually he did respond. So I think it's just that kind of moment. It was just like, why not? I'm already going to that school. I really want to play college football. I'll put my heart into it. So I think that was my moment where it's just kind of like, let's do it. Let's dream big. If it doesn't happen, I'm still going to go to the same school, run college track, and excel there. But why not play college football as well?
Awesome. That's incredible. I mean, Derik, you're an inspiration to all athletes, period. How about the parents watching tonight who have a child facing a physical challenge? What do you say to them right now?
I would tell them it's hard, that every athlete, every individual is completely different from each other, but to be able to just take one day at a time, being able to realize that that we all went through this situation one time and another. That it is truly hard, and just love each other. Just enjoy the time in this process, because once it's over, you're never gonna wish for it to come back, but you're always gonna enjoy the time you guys spent together and the memories you guys made.
That's badass. Derik, we ask every single guest on Path to Pros the same final question. You have competed through cancer, through an amputation, through everything the world said you should stop and not continue to pursue this. You have represented your country on the international stage. You are training right now at the United States Olympic Training Center as a Paralympic dream, and you're just getting started. So let me ask you, what do you want your name to stand for?
Ooh, my name to stand for. I would like my name to stand for just being able to have a goal in mind and achieve it. To be able to have cancer, lose a leg, and beat it. To be able to experience something that most people don't experience, and being able to flip the eyes of how someone can go through it and come out better than they did before. To be able to be a little kid and be so happy and enjoy life, go through this awful thing, and then come out and realize that life is not bad, that these experiences we have create us who we're going to be. So I think when people think of my name, I would like them to think of this person that's gone through awful as a young child and been able to come out of it and express the way and change others while I'm doing it as myself.
That's awesome. I mean, I can't sum up tonight's episode other than remarkable and inspiring. Derik, where can people get a hold of you, whether it's a website, social media handle, or an email?
Yeah, so I am on Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. My Instagram is more of my social stuff, what I'm doing currently. TikTok is more of my fun videos. I also do a lot of coaching for discus on there as well. I have Thursday every week. I think it's really cool being able to shout out to one of my followers and just kind of help them so that both of us can have, myself and all my followers can have big throws. And then YouTube is just more of videos that I took more time into. You're going to have my throwing Thursdays on there as well, coaching, and then just longer videos that I enjoyed making, and I think people look at it. But yeah, so One-Legged Derik, one, and then 2 G's, 2 D's, Derik, for all of the social tags.
I love it. Derik, thank you. Thank you for showing every athlete watching tonight what is actually possible when you refuse to let your circumstances write your story. You didn't just inspire us tonight, you changed the narrative. And to everyone watching, send this to an athlete or parent, coach, every person in your life who needs to hear what the obstacles are like in life and how to overcome them. Also, follow Derik on social media, Instagram, TikTok, One-Legged Derik. Go support him on his path to the Paralympics. Team, we are back next Thursday at 6 p.m. live on YouTube, Facebook, and LinkedIn. Until then, stay off the shortcuts. They don't exist. Stay on the path and remember why you started. This is Blueprint to Bluechip. We build the human being underneath the athlete, and we'll see you next week. Derik, Aaron, thank you so much. We really appreciate it.